let's go down to Starkville, Ben. Let's go down to Starkville. Mississippi State Bulldogs ceiling might surprise you. 10-2. Floor.
That's surprising.
Floor 4-8. Prediction 6-6. Prediction 6-6. Go ahead and read yours off. Yeah.
Ceiling 7-5. I do not think 10
Really?
is anywhere in their future.
Okay.
Floor, I got 4-8. My prediction is just like Auburn, 5-7.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if Mississippi State goes out there and just absolutely just really like presses into the air raid, has a really good defense, because hey, Zach Arnett was the defensive coordinator that hired from within, so he may know a thing or two. I think they literally return all 11 starters on defense, and if not like return all 11 starters, they return all the guys who were on that defense. So none of the starters are new from the portal. But look, wins, you got Southeast Louisiana. I think you beat Arizona. I think you beat Western Michigan. I think you beat Kentucky. I think you beat Auburn. And I think you beat Southern Miss. Okay? Those are your 6 wins. I think that's pretty likely. I think that's pretty likely. Losses. LSU, South Carolina, Alabama, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Toss-ups, I got Auburn, A&M, and Kentucky, because I had Auburn and Ole Miss, or Mississippi State kind of flipped up, in the toss-up category on both sides. A&M, Kentucky, huge toss-up game. I have them written down for a win. I think they could, kind of switch wins and losses between Kentucky and South Carolina, or Texas or Kentucky and A&M, whatever it may be. So my prediction definitely stays the same at 6-6. Ben.
So for my wins, I got Southeast Louisiana, Arizona, Western Michigan, Auburn, Southern Miss. Losses, I had LSU, South Carolina, Bama, Arkansas, Ole Miss, A&M.
Okay, so you have them 5-7. 5-7 for Mississippi State. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The difference, Kentucky, I think, could be a win.
Yeah.
Kentucky could be a win.
Yeah.
That Kentucky team is going to take a minute to look at. Devin Leary at quarterback. Different team for sure over there. Ray Davis at running back.
Good thing for Kentucky, though, they play them late in the year. So if they're figured out.
They could figure it out, but so could Miss State.
Yeah, sure.
And so I really, that game is the biggest toss-up on their schedule for me.
Yep.
And it could literally put them into a bowl game. So if they figure it out and beat that Kentucky team, they could look well this season.
Yeah. I mean, I might throw Arizona in there as a toss-up game. I think you lose Dorian Singer. You lose a couple guys to the portal. I don't think this Arizona team is the same. Maybe take a step back. I think Jed Fish might get fired after the season. We do have an Auburn or Arizona helmet right here, though, if you're watching on YouTube. That being said, Will Rogers, Ben, we've talked about it. I know you've said it. It feels like he's been in college for probably our entire lifespan. So
I have that right here.
Yeah, that is a little while. But look, he stays in Starkville, right? You lose one of probably the best air raid coaches in the history of college football. Shout out to Mike Leach. Rest in peace, Mike Leach, right? We loved Mike Leach, loved watching him. But now you got Zach Arnett, right? He takes over head coach. He won his first career game in the bowl game last year against Illinois. So Will Rogers has surpassed the 10,000-yard mark passing for Mississippi State all time. 82 total touchdowns in 3 seasons. He's only played 3 years, Ben. That's kind of crazy. Kind of wild, honestly. He's only played 3 years at Mississippi State.
Will Rogers?
Yeah. That's berserk. But no, Arnett's going to have to continue to let Will Rogers let it freaking rip, right? This kid can throw the ball. Threw for like 35 touchdowns last year. And you return 10 out of 11 starters on offense. Ra Thomas has gone to the portal. But I like it, right? I really like what this team has got. You grab Rufus Harvey, right? You grab Jaden Wally and Justin Robinson to kind of fill those shoes of those 2 guys who left. But I like this team. I like their offense. Their running game always stinks. But you grab a guy out of the portal and Giroquoris Spivey from TCU, probably butchered that name, but don't worry about it. 6'5", 245. Got a Big 12. No, they didn't. Got a Fiesta. What bowl game? Fiesta Bowl against Michigan, right? Yeah. And had a natty appearance. So he's been there, won games, 165 yards and a receiving touchdown. So something to look forward to. Is Giroquoris Spivey in that offense for Mississippi State, going to be the clear tight end 1. Any thoughts on their offense? I'm about to touch just a couple points on their defense, but anything on this Miss State?
I mean, Will Rogers is the definition of this team. They need him to lead this team and put them over that hump. Running game has continued to be a problem. They do bring in Kevon Lee, transfer from Penn State. So obviously knowing Nick Singleton might get a few more touches than him. Smart move to transfer, I would say. You bring in a lot of pass catchers and transfers, which is good. You lose Ra Thomas. And I think this team, Will Rogers just needs people to pass to. He can sling it. I would say he is a top 5 passing college quarterback.
Yeah.
And so he just needs people to throw it to. And I think that this team, the offense is not the weak spot, or the passing game is not the weak spot.
Sure. I think it was slept on that they won 8 games last year.
They won. You don't really think
games,
about it.
including the bowl game. They were a solid
Really?
team. Yeah, they were a solid team. I misspoke. Ra Thomas, Rufus Harvey are gone. Jaden Wally, Justin Robinson expected to kind of step in those guys' shoes. And at tight end, Jacoris Spivey and Rylan Gady are going to be 2 guys who were kind of
Gady.
Gady.
You think it's Gady?
Goody. I can't really tell.
I saw it too.
Not really familiar with your game. You know that meme? Have you ever seen that meme?
Yeah,
By
Rufus
Shaq.
Hardy is back. Rufus Harvey's coming back.
Is he really?
Yeah. Which
Huh.
is what I was wondering, because
I said he
he
transferred.
was their second.
Yeah, he was their second leading
And
receiver.
Caleb Ducking had
Yeah.
8 touchdowns, but I think he graduated.
Yeah, so
He was seen last year.
I don't know.
8 touchdowns.
Defensively, Nate Watson, Sean Preston Jr. both return. They had the Bulldogs only 2 interceptions last season, and they also combined for 58 total solo tackles. This duo could be headed to the draft. Ben, this duo could be headed to the draft as a really pretty good duo. And yeah, I mean the overall defense isn't too bad. You return kind of 4 other starters on defense, which should be pretty good. So look. Expectations for Mississippi State, make a bowl game. I think you have to make a bowl game in Zach Arnett's first year. I think you got the talent to make a bowl game. Best case, go out there and win 9 or 10 games again. Go out, compete for a 10-win season like you did last year. And, this super veteran team, really one of the more veteran teams in the SEC West, super talented, but too many unproven guys through the portal, too many unproven guys in Zach Arnett's system to go out there and give them more than 6 or 7 wins as of right now. Tons of toss-up games could really, put them from 6 games to 9 games just like that. Because if they prove themselves as a really good team and they'll go out there and beat South Carolina and A&M, and there you are with 8 wins instead of 6. So like I said, ceiling's pretty high, and the prediction is 6-6, ceiling's 10-2. Right. So if a lot of things go their way, I think their ceiling could be really high. Like this team, like their veteran experience for sure. And Ben, slept on stat. Who is Mississippi State's backup quarterback this year?
I literally was about to ask you that same question. It's Mike Wright. I know it. He transferred in.
Yeah.
I saw it in the transfer portal thing. I was like, maybe I should ask Drew that.
Yeah.
And you were right. Rufus Harvey entered the portal.
He
hasn't
and
committed
withdrew.
anywhere.
He might have withdrawn.
He
from
might
the
have
portal.
withdrawn.
Yeah, something like that.
His timeline says he just entered. So
Okay.
he
Yeah,
might have withdrawn, but yeah.
I knew Rufus Harvey entered the portal. So something weird's going on there with Rufus Harvey. A lot of Mississippi State fans
It's
are
mysterious.
probably going to slide in our mentions and be like, "Boys, what are you talking
What are
about?"
you saying?
But who cares?
Maybe fine.
Anyways, Mike Wright, backup QB there. I kind of hope he gets a little bit of work, couple packages for him maybe.